Oh, just a second.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva, and I'm joined by Sam for the Game Week 17 preview. So, Sam, you must be the happiest guy in the world because you don't own Erling Haaland, and for once, that looks like it might just work out for you.
I mean, I had to endure many weeks of missed points, but the plan's all coming together now.
You're just waiting for that. Whatever this injury is, out of nowhere. Did you at least follow the drama on Twitter about how it was revealed immediately after the deadline by one account, FPL Tony, who took a -4 in his own team to take out Haaland, and then you find out all of Erling Haaland's father, mother, girlfriend, brother, neighbor, dude down the street,
His dog.
everyone has taken a hit to get rid of him.
Yeah, I heard about it. I know there's a lot of talk about FPL Tony, right? Oh, he had the news, he should have shared it earlier and stuff like that. But I think it's really unjustified, actually, all the hate that he's receiving, because I mean, he said it later on. I think he clarified, like, if I had revealed it early, it might have affected my own job or whatever it is,
Yeah.
because they would know. So I mean, there's more to life than FPL people. It's hard to imagine, but yeah, I mean, you can't
Very
blame the
hard to
guy,
imagine.
right? Yeah. Unless he's charging you for it or something like that, and you're paying him for early leaks. But he's giving it out for free, so it's up to him when he wants to release it. If he wants to keep it as an edge to himself, so be it,
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The fact that we get leaks even at all is still really surprising. Like, who's running these clubs? Like, how is this information? This week he had a leak for Alvarez more than 24 hours before the UCL game that he wasn't playing. I mean,
Just like a
how
janitor cleaning the doors outside the changing room, like listening in Pep's office.
it's insane. I mean, the last time this came up was when Dean Smith was asked about, people selling Grealish in the FPL teams back at Villa, and he was a bit defensive about it. And from what I understand, subsequent to that, a lot of clubs have had rules. Like Leeds has a rule where you can play FPL, but you can't own anybody from Leeds. So that's a
Yeah.
good way.
Because I think the Villa one was like all the Villa teammates sold Grealish that week, so we knew. But yeah, I think if you let them play but don't own players from the club, that makes sense, I think.
But I think this is Pep, because Pep is bald, right? So Pep has thought about this. He's spoken to Haaland and said, tell your family, sell you, and then you come back against Palace. No one is expecting it. You suddenly just show up on the day. Pep has
Maybe.
figured out FPL. He's gaming it.
He met Magnus Carlsen. Do you see that?
I did.
Chess player, yeah. So maybe he got some tips on how to think ahead and stuff. Extra mind games.
Two FPL frauds meeting. Nice to see. I think Magnus is not playing this year, so
He did, but I think he stopped to focus on chess. I don't know. Some people have lives apparently
priorities.
outside of FPL. Yeah, wrong priorities.
So since you don't have Haaland, and you were very lucky because a lot of people like you who didn't own Haaland brought him in 16 and removed Salah, which is, I mean, how bad can a transfer go, right? So you got to,
I mean,
you were able to avoid
yeah.
that, which is nice. But as a non-Haaland owner, which striker do you look at this week? Because for those of us who do have Haaland, it's tricky, right? Let's assume we don't get any news. It's Pep, so we probably won't get any real concrete news. And maybe FPL Tony doesn't get his information in time because it's a Friday deadline and it's a Saturday, Yeah, see, this is the problem. It's a Friday deadline because somebody has to watch, I don't know, not Nottingham Forest play, so therefore that has to be on a Friday. So that makes it more complicated. If you don't know about Haaland, what's your thought process? If you don't know, do you sell bearing in mind they blank next week anyway?
Depends on your entry price, I think. If
No,
too much
he's the
value...
same price.
Oh, is it?
He's the same.
Sell.
Yeah, he's the same price he was at the start of the game.
Sell because he's gonna miss next week anyway. And I mean, he hasn't exactly been smashing it. I mean, he's been like returning consistent points, but not exactly smashing it.
He's had 2 16-pointers in this so-called difficult period with a bunch of 7s and 8s and 6s. I don't think you can say that Haaland is not delivering, mate. Okay?
I mean, I guess you just pray that it's not a, that is, if it's a 7 or, you could live with a 7-pointer, I think. But if it's a 16-pointer, then yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna.
which and bearing in mind, okay, sure, 18 is fine. He doesn't play. But City play Everton in 19. Okay, Everton away is not as easy as it used to be. But then he plays Sheffield United in game week 20. And no way are you going to want to go without him for that. So my thought about this is the obvious move is to sell because he's really expensive. And why do you have a 40 million player who will not play next week, regardless of this week? But you also know that you almost certainly want him back by 20 anyway. And in 21, Sun goes off and Salah goes off. So
Yeah. Good point.
Sun and Salah go off for the AFCON and the Asian Cup. And so Sun's last game is in game week 20 against Bournemouth. Salah's last game is in game week 20 against Newcastle. And this is a Newcastle which is kind of on the ropes now, right? So I think given that you already have 2 transfers to make after game week 20, do you really want to add another transfer by selling Haaland now and then having to get him back in and then 2 more transfers to get Son and Salah out?
I guess it's a high risk play, right? Do you take the chance with someone else who has 2 confirmed fixtures? They will play the next 2 games versus someone who will 100% blank one and it's like have a, I don't know, 50% chance of playing the other. You know what I mean? Even if it is Erling Haaland, it's high risk play, I guess. High risk, high reward kind of thing.
I
Because
struggle
the
to see.
problem is, sorry, Siva, before you go, the problem I think with this is that in previous years you could go like, okay, I'm going to sell Haaland and bring in another premium striker like Kane or someone who is like, if Kane was still around, I bet you people will make that move. But the thing is, we all have to go down to a cheaper striker, Watkins, Jimenez, whoever it may be. But so then the risk becomes much higher, I think.
Yeah. And I think the issue is like you say, what can you really do with that cash? The only way you can really spread it, bearing in mind Trippier suspended this week, is Trent,
Oh,
right?
I think even if you bring it down, you're not spreading that cash because you need it to bring Haaland back in a few weeks' time. It is nothing to do with spreading the cash. It's all about getting someone who will play the next 2 fixtures and have a chance of outscoring Haaland in the next 2 game weeks. That's all.
The only way I can see this sort of, this moving and move out kind of working is maybe you get Trent in this week by selling Haaland. And then in game week 20, you go 1 week early by selling Salah. So you sell Salah before he plays Newcastle and you get Haaland back in because then Salah goes off AFCON anyway. So that maybe, but it feels like a lot of work. Maybe I'm not being open-minded enough, but then you didn't have Haaland for this stretch. So maybe the non-Haaland owners can give a better perspective on, because I didn't bother selling to begin with. So maybe I'm just too risk averse.
I think if you're going to do it to minimize the transfers, you don't spread the cash around. You don't get Trent using your Haaland money kind of thing so that it can be in and out, out and in.
So you're selling for a position. You're just selling for another forward. You're not then moving more cash into defense. So that way, returning to him in 19 is not so hard. I think that's maybe more acceptable to me.
Yeah, that's what I would do, I think.
Yeah. I guess the question is, why don't you feel Trent is worth it? I guess that's where you're going.
I got Trent this week.
Mm.
So I think it's worth it. I like Trent now. I think we'll get into the players in more details later. But since we're talking about Trent,
yeah. I'm going to Trent because Trent didn't return this week, and I still
he had 4 points.
Remain skeptical. Oh yeah, he got 2 bonus, which is
because
amazing.
He played really well. So I think that is the appeal of Trent for me now. He's basically, I think he's kind of back to his best. And the points are going to come. I mean, they have been coming the past few weeks, right? The week I got him in, he blanked. But still got 2 bonus, which is amazing. So that's 8 bonus points in the last 3 weeks, which is kind of crazy,
How do you get bonus points with no
chances created,
no
chances created and stuff and all the other
stuff.
non-FPL point stuff? But yeah. So I like Trent. I think for if you have the money to do it and you can bring in Trent, he's gonna be a really good asset the next few weeks. But it's just to not complicate the plan of getting Haaland back. Because like you said, if you push the money into your defense, then you need to sell someone else to get him in, and that adds another week, or you have to take a hit and things like that. If it's just in and out, it's easy, Sell Haaland, then get him back in. The cash is there, no risk. So yeah.
Again, I come in with a lot of bias because I have Tsimikas and Darwin. So for me to get Trent is a lot more work. Like I'd have to sell Tsimikas, which I'm not too keen to do so. But I can see the logic for going Trent. I can because they have
Your
the best
position
fixture
on
this week.
Tsimikas changes every pot we make. But
I-
yeah, sorry. Continue, Siva.
He went from essential to must sell now to must come back into the team. I'm trying to be patient with him.
And now
Ultimately,
not
he's
selling
really
for his better asset than Trent.
Trent's better. I mean, I can't run away from that. Trent is better, but I guess the urgency to get Trent doesn't feel so immediate to me.
And Tsimikas is like half his price.
Yeah, Tsimikas is half his price. But who knows? If Haaland's confirmed out, like if it's a red flag this week, then maybe I will be more moved to do something more drastic. But coming back to Trent, right? I guess this week is a good entry point, right? It's a good fixture, right? He plays the worst team in the league, a team that is decided its entire attacking plan is let's get Scott McTominay in the box and see what happens. How did they come to this with United?
Scott McTominay, Euro top scorer. Don't disrespect his name. But no, I mean, United. To be fair, we only limited Bayern to 1 goal.
Yep. I mean, are you gonna? Yep.
I think jokes aside, I think Trent is kind of fixture proof because high chance of attacking returns as well. I mean, he scored against City, so clean sheets are the bonus if it comes, and if it doesn't, you still got attacking returns. Kind of like a Pedro Porro, I guess. It's like a more expensive Porro.
Why not just get Pedro Porro then? I mean, for those who
I mean,
don't own, again, you have Pedro Porro.
Well, yeah, you should. Everyone should get Pedro Porro. Amazing.
So who's
asset.
more immediate? If this week? Because I don't own Trent and I don't own Pedro Porro, but I own Destiny Udogie. Okay, so I got that goal. So before coming at me, which is more important this week? Because Porro plays Forest away, which
Then
I guess typically we think of Forest away as being a hard fixture, but these days maybe not so much.
I mean, like I said, Porro's all about the attacking returns. What are clean sheets?
I mean, they were 2 minutes away from. They were 2 minutes away from a clean sheet this week, so I feel like that's eventually it's gonna happen. It just hasn't happened yet. And anyway, nobody's getting clean sheets. So why do people care suddenly about clean sheets? Who gets clean sheets? Everton. That's it.
Oh yeah, I have Michael, and people laughed at me when I brought him in. Remember that?
Yeah, I saw today morning price rise for Mikalenko. What's happening?
I mean, Everton has been keeping clean sheets, man. 3 clean sheets in a row.
Did you actually start Mikalenko this week?
No, he's on my bench.
Eh.
But I mean, the reason why I got him in was to be on my bench, and he was doing well. So it was a good move, I think. I still maintain that it was a good move, selling cash for Michael.
Yeah, you benched him because he was playing Chelsea, and you still have that Chelsea are a strong team bias kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I started him last week and got that clean sheet point. So
I was looking at a Premier League table for this year, for the whole year of 2023 up to today, and the worst team that isn't relegated or promoted because they play half the games is Chelsea. So, like Chelsea have the least points of any team that's not relegated or promoted for this year.
That's crazy. Calendar year,
that's insane.
is it? Calendar year?
Yeah, calendar.
That's crazy.
Oh man, it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't track with my perception. Like I still struggle. I brought in Cole Palmer this week. Was I making a mistake? Like it seemed very obvious. Was I making a mistake going for Cole Palmer, thinking this is a good team and this is such a good attacker for such a cheap price on a supposedly big team?
I mean, take away the big team part, but everything else is still true. You know, he's a good attacker. He's on pants and he's cheap. So worth a shot, I guess. You know.
Pens really can let you overlook a lot of other flaws.
Yeah, I think so. At that
So
price,
I guess
really, it is extremely cheap for the main pen taker of a team.
yeah. I guess coming back to Trent and Porro, let's just finish that off. Who's the more immediate, asset that you get? I think it's Porro, given the price.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Because the price is really hard to get to Trent. He's 8 mil. Damn. Like me getting Trent last week was because like the news started to come that Haaland was injured. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get Haaland. I was planning to save that money to get Haaland in after the blank. But since he's injured, I'm like, okay, I'll find money from elsewhere. So yeah, Trent came in. Sold Sun, which was not a good move. Did not
All the
expect a
weeks.
Sun masterclass, but just got to toughen it out, I guess. Because I sold him ahead of the Asian Cup. I was like, Spurs not doing well. Madison's still out. Asian Cup's coming soon. I'll just be ahead of the curve a bit. Sell him now. Bam, 17 points. Masterclass by Sun. Could have gotten like 20 plus, I think.
Yeah, could have. I mean, to be fair to you, there was like that video 2 days before of Son being crying on the bench and in tears while somebody's rubbing his knee. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah.
Okay, so Porro ahead of Trent, I think, is the general sort of position. Coming back to Haaland replacements, because you don't need it, but I do. Assuming we do sell Haaland, you got Watkins, you got Solanke, you got Raul Jimenez, and I'm running out of options.
Alvarez, I guess if you don't own, seeing how he'll probably play up top, it can be an
but
option.
blank next week,
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean he's still playing still. Yeah. Good point. I think that's all the options.
Yeah. I don't think Gabriel Jesus, as much as I want to be like say that he's an option, I just don't think he's consistent enough. He's not on pens. He's quite expensive for somebody who's not on pens. I don't know why. He's just doesn't return enough for me and tends to get subbed off, which I don't like either. Like 70 minutes he subbed off for Nketiah.
Matheus Cunha?
Cunha.
Yeah.
Wow.
He could be an option.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
also not on pens, but really cheap though.
Yeah, and he is not blanked for the past 5 weeks, which is pretty impressive.
How do these things happen? I had no idea.
No
about
one
that.
cares about Wolves, man. No one cares about Wolves, which is why the other Korean guy, Hwang Hee-chan, yeah, which is why he remained under the radar for really long, despite him pretty much like consistently bringing in points since he broke into the team somewhere around game week 7, I think. But no one went on him because no one cares about Wolves.
Their fixtures are okay. They're not great, but they're not bad, right? West Ham away, Chelsea home, Brentford away. All you could argue teams that are struggling.
The FDR shows a bunch of threes. It's like 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So the literal definition of okay fixtures, not great and not bad.
Yeah. I mean, none of these look very difficult. I could see them scoring in all these games, but you could also see them not. So it's kind of weird. If you look at Fulham's FDR,
Wolves has been scoring. That's the thing. They might not win all the games, but they kind of score almost every game now. It's like remember we had the perception that Wolves is a team that can't score, and I think it stayed with us too long, and we brought the biasness in because they have been scoring almost every single game. Not necessarily winning, but scoring at this.
Yeah, Cunha is the interesting. Okay, maybe I'm, again, maybe it's perceptions, right? I didn't really think
Cunha got more points than Darwin. Okay.
Let's not talk about Darwin anymore. I mean, been there, done that. Still have him, but he's going after. Well, hopefully this week. It's okay. United come and fix him.
I have Isak as well, who has not done anything for me, but he did not play midweek, so most likely he plays this weekend. Although, yeah, I mean he got subbed on. He didn't start. So he most likely will play this weekend. However, there is a lot of talk on that he will play on the wings because they just have no one else. Like Newcastle has no one. So Wilson might
Well, we'll
start up
talk about
top. Isak might play the wings and stuff. Yeah. So
yeah.
I have Isak, but wouldn't personally recommend to bring him in right now. Too much uncertainty, I think.
It's weird because Newcastle's next three fixtures are Fulham, Luton, Forest, which look really nice, but no.
Mhm.
And I mean, to your point about playing on the wing, Anthony Gordon came off with a tight hamstring yesterday against Milan, so it may be
Yeah.
Isak on the wing, which
Okay,
would not
back
be
to
good.
strikers though. I think
Mm.
the number one choice, if you just want a 2-week replacement, a placeholder for Haaland when he comes back, right? It has to be Dominic Solanke.
Why
Luton and Forest. That's his next two fixtures. And he's doing the business. Kinda.
is he really? I mean, these are
Kinda.
very modest. These are very modest numbers, right? What is it? I think it's what 3 goals in the last 10 weeks or 9 weeks or something like
I mean,
that.
he's the fourth scoring, no, fifth, fourth highest scoring striker forward in the game.
Okay, I mean, that's not
But
a
I know
massive
it's slim
achievement.
pickings because all the forwards are scoring really badly.
Yeah.
2-week punt. It's
Why
just a
so?
2-week punt. Come on.
Okay, if we're talking 2 week punts, why isn't it Watkins? Because Watkins plays Brentford and Sheffield United. Brentford have. Let me see if I can find you the Brentford injury list. I think I just. It's very long, basically.
I hate Watkins.
Okay, apart from your personal preferences, which are not relevant, Brentford are missing Aaron Hickey, Brian Mbomo, Josh De Silva, Kevin Schade, Christopher Ayer, Matthias Jensen, Nathan Collins, Rico Henry, and Ivan
Don't do
Toney.
that too.
About 3 of those are defenders.
Every time we do this thing, we're like, oh, the team are missing so many players, they're gonna get wrecked. They somehow like rally together because they have no players and end up putting up a shift. So
They just lost to Sheffield United, mate. I mean, how bad do you have to be to lose to Sheffield United?
it's a good point.
And Aston Villa, Champions League team now, right? Beaten Arsenal, beaten City. For this calendar year, Villa are the second best team in the entire league behind City. I mean, they're a legit team now. So why
But
isn't Watkins, who's got way
I think
more
though,
assists than
a l-
Solanke?
yeah, that's true. That's true. A lot of people
And
already have Watkins, I think. That's the issue.
no, a lot of people don't have Watkins. I mean, I'm sure that is the issue. A lot of people sold Watkins for Darwin, which you can debate.
Oh, people did that? I missed that.
Mistakes were made.
What about Jimenez? Honestly, do you think it's just a little purple patch? 3 goals in the past 2 games kind of thing, and then goes on a run of blanks?
It's actually 4 and 5, which sounds nicer when you say it. It's I like how you pick some arbitrary cutoff point and then these stats are really decent. The fixtures are really good. So Fulham's fixture, okay, this week Newcastle away is not great, but then after that, Burnley, Bournemouth, they play them twice in the next 8 weeks. So they play Burnley, Bournemouth, and then again Burnley, Bournemouth. Arsenal's tough, yeah. Chelsea's okay, Everton, and Fulham are winning 5-0 each week anyway. So back-to-back 5-0 wins.
They're just gonna score 5 goals every single game up until the end of the season.
I think so. The issue I have with Raul Jimenez is more about minutes because I look at his minutes and he doesn't play 90, 70, 70, 70, 70 minutes every week, basically, except for the 190 he's had against Liverpool. And apart from that, a lot of 50s, 40s. You have to go back all the way to game week 3 for him to last play 90 minutes. I'm a little put off by that. I like my players to have 90 minutes on the field. That's why I like Watkins and Solanke because they play 90 every week without fail.
Yeah, Solanke definitely, I think. Watkins, most weeks he plays 90, I think.
Watkins plays 90 every week. In fact, has he? I mean, you have to go back to game week 4 for the last time Watkins played less than 88 minutes. So I think minutes.
Europe will start to creep
Have you
into
seen
his legs, I think, maybe.
Mate, I mean, not that I have photos. I mean, he's built like a man's got he's got muscles everywhere.
Fair
He
enough.
doesn't.
Fair enough.
He's known for having like a great fitness record.
Yeah, actually. Even in the past few years, like he rarely ever gets injured.
Yeah. No pens, but, and here's the but, you're talking about 2 weeks. Watkins may be on pens this week because Douglas Luiz is suspended.
Oh, Okay. I mean,
I say maybe.
without, I think he would be. Without Douglas Luiz, he should be the second choice pen
John
picker.
McGinn may insist on taking. That's the only issue.
Okay. Fair point. I think without a doubt, Watkins is the second best forward in the game. Right? Like,
Okay.
I mean, overall, the entire season. It shows in the points, it shows in the way they play that he is the second best. So you could go safe and just get the second best since the best is out. Or you could, leave a little and get Matheus Cunha or Solanke or Jimenez or one of these more exciting picks. Because Watkins is boring. The only time he scores big is when I sell him. And I already sold him like a few weeks back. So you missed your chance already. Right? And now he's just gonna go on runs of 2s and 6. Like that's all he's gonna get until I bring him back in. So boring pick. I know people don't like to hear it, but low ceiling.
I think good floor, and that's what tempts me more. And I think Villa's fixtures are good for a much longer period of time. Bournemouth's next three are what people are talking about: Luton, Forest, Fulham. But after that, Spurs, Liverpool, West Ham. It's mixed, and it's ultimately he plays for Bournemouth. Like Villa is just so much a better team, and their fixtures are Sheffield United from 18, Man United, as we discussed, best fixture in the league, Burnley, Everton, and Sheffield United again in game week 23. You get to play Sheffield United twice in 5 weeks with Ollie Watkins.
No, I mean, long term, definitely Watkins is the second best option in the game. Long term, yeah, he's a season keeper. If you have Watkins, he won't get injured. You stick him in your squad, he'll return points slowly, consistently over the course of the season. But if you're just using it as a placeholder, there are more exciting options. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying better. I'm not saying better options. I'm saying more exciting options.
I think this is a season for making boring transfers. I think it is.
Yeah,
I think
I think it is too,
FPL,
Siva. That's why my rank is so low because I've not been doing that.
I think FPL has become a game where your biggest enemy is yourself and your inability to do the most boring thing every week.
Fair enough, I think.
Yeah.
But what's the fun in that?
I mean, Solanke could get 2 pens in the first 5 minutes in their game against Luton, and then maybe I'll feel differently.
Yeah, my pick would be Solanke. I think if just for a placeholder, I think, and I see where you're coming from, Siva. If you're going to take a risk, the risk of selling Haaland, you might as well go with the lowest risk possible, which is Watkins, I guess. 6 points, 12 points over the next 2 games. Nice, and you would take it, right? If I'll give you 12 points in the next 2 weeks, you would take it. Versus, 4. But I don't know. Excitement and fun, I guess.
And I'm also thinking ahead to game week 18, right? Because Arsenal play Liverpool in 18. City don't play. If you don't want to captain Salah, because Arsenal, possible title winners, then Watkins against Sheffield United. Hey. But Watkins at home against Sheffield United, right? Like, that's captainable. I don't think you'd captain Solanke away at Forest. And I can't think of anybody else who you probably captain that week. It's got to be a Villa player because they play Sheffield United. Fulham player playing Burnley. Who are you gonna captain from Fulham? So yeah.
Yeah, and Wolves are playing Chelsea, which is a fixture you would play them in, but not necessarily you wouldn't have confidence to captain them. Yeah.
Newcastle playing Luton. I think a few weeks ago we may have considered a Newcastle player, but no, this is at Kenilworth Road, so you're not gonna pick a Newcastle player to captain.
They basically have
no
one
players
in their team right now.
Yeah, running on fumes. Yeah,
it's a good point. That's a good point, Siva. All good points.
Good. I gave some thought to this, so let's leave the forwards aside. Let's try and get to midfielders because we have this Anthony Gordon thing which has come overnight. So tight hamstring. If Gordon is out,
still might play. That's the thing.
The issue with Newcastle and Eddie Howe is that he doesn't tell the truth, so we're not going to know.
Yeah.
But in some miraculous alternate universe where we do find out whether he's fit or not, and let's just say he's not fit, or for somebody who needs a midfielder this week and can't go to Gordon, who do you go to? Because skipping the usual guys aside, so skipping Son, Saka, Salah, and even Cole Palmer, I'm running out of names.
I mean, I would bench, honestly. But
Get a
because
defender.
if it's a tight hamstring, he'll probably be back next week, right? Maybe just a rest this weekend, unless it's a proper injury and it's out long term. I would bench because he's so cheap. Most of us probably went kind of early, and even if you didn't, is it worth a transfer out when you probably, will want him back in again, seeing how his form has been?
Fair.
So
But for those who need a replacement, or for those who need an alternative midfielder this week, because I did try and think about this, and
it's
the
tough.
options I came up with. So Willian, if he's fit, which he may
Mm,
not be because he came off at halftime, but maybe on Pence or Fulham, has taken recently. Abdullah Doucoure, who has 6 goals this season. He's
yeah,
one short of his best ever season.
because
And
he's
6
playing a
goals from
little
7
bit
XG.
further up top, I think.
Yeah.
He's
So
doing
sort of
that.
a box to box number 10 kind of thing.
Mhm.
Sterling not an
Okay.
option because he was benched this week, which is weird. Leon Bailey,
Um, he's not
good form.
he's not nailed though. He just played 45 last week. And then if you go like 3 weeks back in that period from game week 13, he played 45 minutes in game week 10, 45 minutes in game week 11, 28 minutes in game week 12, and then 45 again in game week 13. Why is he why does he not make it
He's
past
made
45?
he's made of cheese, mate. That's the why.
So yeah, no, not Bailey. It is extremely slim pickings.
You missed out one very obvious name. I'm surprised.
Scott
Brazil's
McTominay.
number 9.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
If we see this, it's good we don't record every week because last week I was getting a lot of stuff about isn't Scott McTominay like a legit pick, and this is the issue with United, right? I love Man United fans, but you win one game and then Scott McTominay, I'm bringing him in this week.
Yeah. Just like after Garnacho scored that one bicycle kick, like everyone wanted to bring him in. United
People
fans
have
are
brought in Garnacho. Like there are legit
yeah.
FPL managers on Twitter who have Garnacho. It makes no sense. Yeah. Nobody's watching United's games. I think.
There's no one. Basically, there is no one to get.
No, but you ignored me. Brazil's number 9.
Who is Brazil's
Who?
number 9? Is it not Gabby? Gabby J?
No, it's
Or is
no,
it
mate.
Gabby?
It's Richarlison. Brazilians hate Gabby J. Bro.
Oh, okay, really?
Not sure why. Yeah, they do because he never shows up for the national team. Like he just doesn't perform. They love Richarlison.
He does perform for Brazil, and he did score 2 goals last week. Although I would say both of it kind of handed to him. But that said, even if it's an
You gotta
easy
put
goal, the
the
fact that he scores is fine because look at people like Darwin who can't. So yeah. And
I
with
think
Son
what's
going off
interesting.
soon, that makes his place kind of secured. But then there's the other issue without Madison, without Son, who's gonna do anything? You can rely on Brendan Johnson, Richarlison, and Kulu. As good as the 3 of them are, they're all professional footballers. But
They've got
without
Lo
Mads, without
Celso,
Son,
World Cup winner. Well, actually, he didn't win the World Cup because he didn't play. But they've got Lo Celso. They got Brian Hill. They've got I don't know, Oliver Skip.
doesn't exactly inspire you with confidence.
The issue with Richarlison is, does he play number 9 every week? If he plays number 9 every week, he's definitely in. But this is the first time he's played number 9 in a long time since the
I
start of the
think
season.
he would, especially if Son is not there, because Kulu definitely plays on the wing, and Brennan Johnson is a bit more versatile, I think. So
Yeah, but
I
Son
would
doesn't
take
go away.
Johnson on the wing versus Richie.
It makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
but
Johnson on
like
the
you said,
wing. Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah.
Like you said,
Son
Son
doesn't go away
away
till
until a
game week
few more weeks.
21.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 4 weeks with Richarlison, hopefully as number 9, but you don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Too big of a risk for me now.
So is it just Doucoure? Am I missing, anyone else?
I mean, Hong Hee-chan, if you don't already own him. Just because
going
he
off.
blanked once. Oh, he is also going off. I forgot. Sorry, I forgot. There's another Korean in the league.
Yes.
That is tough. That is tough.
So basically, your solution is make a defender transfer or forward transfer and pray Gordon heals. Is I think the basic idea.
Yeah, I mean, he probably will heal in the next weeks. I actually really like how Foden looks, but he does blank in 18. But after 18, I think he may be an option. But other
You
than
didn't
that, yeah,
mention
who did I not mention?
one last
Siva?
guy, Marcus Tavernier.
I mean, if you're considering Solanke, I guess you can consider Tavernier as well, who has been doing decent. But I think if
Very
you want to get
underrated, but
if you want to get a Bournemouth attacker, then it's Solanke, right?
I don't know what to make of Marcus Tavernier because he typically plays 70 minutes most weeks or closer to 80, but then got rotated for the Palace game, understandably because it's a midweek game. Between that, he had a 16-pointer at Sheffield United, 9-pointer at Man United this week. I don't know. I don't know what to make of him, and I don't know. I really don't know. Marcus Tavernier, I've seen him like ball out in certain performances, but
he's one of those, right? Like kind of inconsistent, I guess.
yeah, very. And he's the kind of guy who like you will sell him and then he will then haul. Sort of like what people had with Ward Prowse, that kind of thing. We didn't talk about Bowen. Why have you not discussed Jared Bowen?
Oh, I have Bowen, but I guess if you don't have someone, Fisher's not the best, but decent, I guess. Wolves, United at home, and then Arsenal away. I think
Yeah,
I'm really scared to sell Bowen because I feel he's one of those players that you can just kind of keep in your team the entire season and he will tick along with points. But it's so hard to predict when he returns and when he doesn't, right?
yeah. West Ham don't show up for they lose against Fulham final, but then they beat Spurs away.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
So it's one of those. I think if you have Bowen, you just keep him in your team. Like, just be content with the points he's bringing in and just leave him there.
Yeah, I might come back to Bowen. I think in game week 20 because then they've got a run: Brighton, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, Man United. That looks a bit more better, and hopefully by then Moyes has figured out whatever it is he needs to. Because right now they're so poor against Fulham. Like they didn't do anything.
That was
90
bad.
minutes against Fulham and barely a chance. I think that's everything we needed.
There's just no FPL assets right now. Like the pool of assets that you can pick from is extremely small.
That's because everybody does their ACL like every week now, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So as we run out of options, I guess let's finish up with captaincy, right?
Salah?
The easiest captaincy week, yeah, has to be right.
Salah. If you have Salah, then it's Salah. If you don't have Salah,
Take a hit and get Salah.
yeah. Do you see his record against United? Like he has not
No,
blanked in the past like 6 games against United or something like that. And like 3 of those 6 games or 4 are double-digit hauls, like big hauls. He shows up against United. If you believe in this kind of stuff,
I don't, but I mean, but he does. I did read the stat, which is pretty cool today. Since I think it's 2017, 2018, Salah has more yellow cards for celebrating goals against United than United have goals at Anfield.
Oh, no. Well, Salah this then. Captain Salah, enjoy your points. If you're a United fan like me, at least it softens the blow. Every time you see Salah score against United this weekend, you can at least think about your FPL team. Like, it's all right. At least I'm doing well in FPL.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's not just like we're going with the obvious pick. It's more to do with the fact that United are missing Johnny Evans, no Bruno, probably no Luke Shaw. Oh, sorry, they're starting Johnny Evans. They're not missing Johnny. They'll have to start Johnny Evans. Yeah, no Maguire, no Shaw, no Bruno.
Yeah. It's terrible. Basically, got a bare squad.
Yeah, there's probably an entire pod we could just do about United's issues, but maybe we save that.
Yeah, but
for
let's
another...
not. Let's let me maintain my sanity and mental health by not having a full pod about United.
Fair enough. Okay, we haven't been so regular, but we will be, going forward. It's been a busy few weeks, end of the year and all that, a lot of stuff to do. But next week's a regular week, game week 18, so we'll definitely do a pod before then. And it'll be a bit more interesting because I think free hit is off the table, right? Like there's just not enough
Nah.
reason for you to be free hitting now that you've sold off all your Brentford guys and half your City guys anyway.
Yeah. I think the fact that Haaland and Mbeumo got injured kind of became a mini blessing, I think.
It's annoying, yeah. But we'll talk about captaincy. Will be interesting next week because
Yeah.
going against Salah, I think there's a reason to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's all for us this week. So
Get your green
Sam,
arrows, guys. Get your green arrows, and we'll see you in the next episode.